Hi, good morning, everyone, and compliments of the festive season. Thank you for joining us for today's session on a Saturday morning. We're going to talk about how to navigate the MBA waitlist today. We'll talk about what it is like to be on a waitlist, the kind of strategies that you can adopt to strengthen your candidature to get off the waitlist. But before we do that, let's talk about who we are, the Red Pen. We are education consultants, and we offer a whole gamut of services from early advising, undergraduate, postgraduate, MBA, boarding and day school admissions. We also offer career counseling. We've got 10 plus years of experience in education consulting. We've had 1,000 plus admits to top universities across the globe during this period. We worked with 6,000 plus unique applicants, and we have a large team of 70 plus members across 9 nationalities. We also have memberships to and affiliations, professional memberships and affiliations to AGAC, IECA, and other organizations. Talking about the team MBA at the Red Pen, we are a global team with international MBA admissions consulting experience. Just to walk you through some data points about our performance, 94% of our applicants received offers to their top 2 choice schools last year. 100% of our applicants received interview invites from at least one program. Our candidates received $1.5 million worth of scholarships in the last admission cycle, and 98% of our applicants applied to global top MBA programs. These were the admits that our candidates had in 2021-22. As you can see, it includes all the top schools across the globe. These were the admits, these were the schools business schools where our candidates were admitted in 2022-23. Again, you can see, it includes all the top schools and a wide gamut of schools across the globe. Well, a little about myself. I'm Anju Goela. I'm a lead consultant with the Red Pen on their MBA admissions team. I've been with the Red Pen for 8 years and worked with over 500 students during this period in different capacities. Before we get into the waitlist strategies, let's talk about how admissions officers look at your application. So this is what we call the MBA admissions wedding cake. At the basic or the first level, they are going to look at your academic professional, which includes your undergrad GPA, your GMAT, or your GRE score, your work experience, which is extremely important. For international MBA programs, you need at least 3 to 5 years of work experience. They will also look at the brands for which you work, the industry where you operate, and the function where you that you're involved in. Goals form a critical part of the application process. Schools will typically look at your short-term goals, your post-MBA short-term goals, and that is what defines why you need an MBA. The gaps that you have in your current knowledge and skill sets that the MBA can bridge to help you achieve your short-term goals. And of course, the long-term goals are, even schools understand that there are shifting goalposts. Nobody can really be sure what they would probably be doing 10 years down the line, but they want to see that you have a defined career path, that you've thought this through, that you have a very specific thought process. Demonstrated leadership is an extremely, extremely important part of the application process. Once again, all schools across the board look for leadership in their candidates. So they will want to know if you have, created impact through the work that you've done, or do you have the potential to create impact? Extracurricular activities during and after college can be used to demonstrate a variety of skills and also your interests outside of work. Fit for the program. All international schools and programs are very particular about you being a good fit for their program. So it's very important to understand the culture and ethos of each program, right? So this is, these are the various factors that are taken into consideration while when admissions officers look at your applications. Okay. Various components of the applications, as you're all aware, are the essays, the recommendations, the resume, the application form, and of course, the interview. Right. So you've submitted your applications in round one, and you've got a decision saying that you're waitlisted. It's a very difficult situation to be in. You're neither accepted nor are you rejected. So you kind of feel that you're somewhere in between. You're kind of left hanging. So what does it mean to be waitlisted? Now, please remember that a waitlist is not a rejection. Okay, it just means that the school is interested in you. They like your application, they like your candidacy, but at this point, they're unable to offer you a spot for various reasons. They might want to know more about you. Okay, there might be some gaps in your application that they want you to bridge, or sometimes it's as simple as, well, they have too many good applications to pick from, and they also need to shape the class. So if you come from an overrepresented pool, they might keep you on the wait list. Candidates often come to me and ask me, is there anything wrong with my candidature? Is there is that the reason why I've been listed? And the loud, resounding answer is no. The fact that you've been waitlisted is because, the school likes you, they like your application. It's just that they're unable to offer you a spot at that point in time. What are the different kinds of waitlists? You could be waitlisted after an interview, or you could be waitlisted without an interview. Now, what's the difference? If you're waitlisted after an interview, your application is under continuous consideration, and they could offer you a spot at any point in time. But if you're waitlisted without an interview, it becomes a two-step process. They will essentially have to invite you for re-evaluate your application and invite you for an interview, and then of course give you a decision on whether you accept it or reject it. A waitlist can be open or closed. What does it mean? Well, an open waitlist means that schools are willing to engage with you further after they've conveyed the waitlist decision. You can send them updates, you can ask them questions. Vis-a-vis a closed waitlist where they don't want to engage with you any further after you've submitted your application and received a waitlist decision. They will re-evaluate your application on their own and let you know at whatever point in time specified on whether you're accepted or rejected. A question that comes up very often is, how do I communicate or engage with the school on my waitlist or my updates? So different schools have different requirements, or they have different specifications. For some schools, you can engage with them through their website. For others, it is through your application portal. Most schools have a waitlist form, or they give you an email ID through which you can communicate with them. Okay, either if you want to ask questions or if you want to send updates. Another very commonly asked question, will I get off the waitlist? Very difficult for anyone to answer the question. Honestly, there are no guarantees. But having said that, I have worked with candidates across the spectrum of schools over the years, and I have seen candidates get off the list. So remain optimistic. Do not give up and persevere. If it is your dream school, you need to kind of remain optimistic and persevere, and do take the steps that are necessary, steps that we will talk about subsequently. So there are three things essentially that you can do. You can work on building your profile. You can provide the school with updates, and you can demonstrate continued interest. Once again, I would like to stress here that you need to follow the school guidelines. If the school does not want you to send updates, please do not. Okay. If the school does not want to engage with you any further, please do not. So you need to look at what each school requires you to do, and we're going to talk about that at a slightly later stage. But these are the three things that you can do. So what do you mean when you say build your profile? A good starting point would be between receiving the waitlist and the outcome on your waitlist, which is typically, not necessarily, but which is typically with the next round. And you have sufficient time there. You can take on leadership roles. You can take on increased and more complex responsibilities. You can take on volunteer work. All of this can show a whole gamut of skills that schools value. You can provide them with updates. We will discuss this again at a slightly later stage. You can, demonstrate interest in the school and show how passionate you are about attending that particular school by attending the events, webinar, coffee chats, connecting with student ambassadors, talking to alumni, current students, and articulating the lessons that you've learned in your update letters. Right. Now, before we get on to the steps that you take, the first thing that you need to do once you receive a waitlist, a waitlist decision, is to confirm your place on the waitlist. There's a timeline that is specified, but in case it is not, try and do it within a week or 10 days. Okay. Please observe individual school guidelines. I've already mentioned that. If they have waitlist webinars, sign up for those. Attend chats and on waitlists. And please go through the FAQs on the website and also on the waitlist communication that schools send you. They often send you an embedded link to FAQs. Most candidates forget to do this, but it's an important step in the process. If you've been interviewed by an alum or a current student, please make sure that you reach out to them and you update them about your waitlist. Do ask them for feedback and suggestions on how the interview went, or your profile, or your fit for the school. It's not necessary that your interviewer will give you feedback, but I have seen that at times they come back with very significant, feedback on areas of improvement, and that gives us direction on what to work on, and formulate the waitlist strategy accordingly. Right. Now, in terms of specific school processes, I will just talk about, a few things that certain schools have. Waitlist webinars. Now, there are schools like Kellogg, Fuqua, Haas, McDonough, which run waitlist webinars, and where they kind of give you information on what you should do and the next steps and how to communicate with them. Normally, this is a very generalized webinar. They don't really give you specific feedback on your application, or they don't really encourage, specific questions, but it kind of gives you a broad overview of the way forward. As far as feedback is concerned, most schools do not give you feedback on why you have been waitlisted. There are a few schools like Tuck and Darden that do, but by and large, schools will not give you feedback. You need to assess your application on your own, identify areas of weaknesses and gaps, and address them. Right. Now, there are certain schools that, sorry, assign you waitlist managers, schools like London Business School and UVA Darden, where you can set up a one-on-one meeting and ask them very specific pointed questions on the waitlists. Additional LORs, there are a few schools that welcome additional LORs like Fuqua, Johnson, Darden. But remember that these LORs cannot be from the same people that you've taken from for your application. They have to be different or new people. Updates. Most schools accept updates, okay, but they have very specific formats, and sometimes they have buckets of information that they would like you to give them. So you need to take a look at school-specific requirements and send them updates. Letter of support. There are schools that accept a letter of support, and I'm going to talk about that a little later. Interviews or re-interviews. Now, schools normally will not accept requests for a re-interview. There are a few schools like Tuck which may, but by and large, schools do not do that. Now, in case you've not been interviewed, you've been waitlisted without an interview. Now, there are schools like Berkeley Haas, which the moment you confirm your place on the waitlist, they offer you the video format of the interview. So yeah, that is possible. There are schools like Cornell Johnson, which ask for an action plan on how or what you're going to do to improve your candidacy. They also give you very specific resources that you can look at to address various areas of weaknesses. Now, waitlist forms, all schools have this. They may call it, they may term it differently, but most schools have a waitlist form. A waitlist essay. There are schools like McDonough, like I mentioned earlier. They expect you to submit a 150-word essay. Chicago Booth has a video essay, a 60-second video essay. Typically, they have 3 prompts. You need to pick one prompt and send them this essay. Right. Let's just talk about a few do's and don'ts. Okay. When you are sending your updates or when you are connecting with the schools, please do not send an emotional response. Okay. You need to be professional. You need to be, you need to be very, very grounded when you are sending a response. Okay. Do not send things like, oh, I expected to get in. Why have I not got in? I have such a good profile. I'm extremely disappointed. Those are not things that you write to the AdCom. Okay. While you need to be proactive, please, this is one situation where silence is not golden. You should not sit back and say, okay, I've been waitlisted. I'm just going to wait on my decision. You need to be proactive. You need to take certain steps. You need to have a very concrete strategy on how to try and convert that waitlist. But at the same time, you cannot be aggressive. Okay, you cannot keep sending them updates every couple of days. You cannot keep hounding the AdCom. You cannot keep chasing the student ambassadors. That could prove counterproductive. Okay. You need to, as I said, schools do not provide feedback on your applications. You need to review your application on your own and identify the gaps there, okay, and areas of weaknesses that you need to address. Also, reflect on the interview, because that is one place where you could have fallen short. So reflect on your interview, on the answers that you gave. on how you could have done better. Define a plan B. It's very important to have a plan B, okay, in case the MBA does not work out. I've already mentioned follow individual school process, reach out to the waitlist manager if the school assigns you one. Another very important thing that you can do is, if you have acceptances from other schools, you can mention the timelines for accepting those admits and making a deposit, and you can request for an early decision. Okay, that is definitely a possibility. I have seen schools give you an early decision. Not always, but yes, there are schools that give you an early decision if they really want to. Okay. Solicit feedback only if the school allows for it. Visit the campus if possible. Again, now this is only to demonstrate interest and and trying to and kind of convey to the school that you are really passionate about that school. You want to understand the school, its culture and its ethos. It doesn't mean that you're going to get into school. A campus visit doesn't ensure that. Okay. If you're accepting another offer, please withdraw your place on the wait list so that somebody else who needs that admit can be considered. If you're rejected, okay, do reapply in the next cycle. When I say next cycle, it's not from round 1 to round 2, but in the next application year. It shows that you are really committed and you are keen to attend that school. What happens is there are a lot of times when schools may get a lot of very good applications and they're spoiled for choice, and that's the one reason why they cannot accept you. But the fact that they waitlisted you shows that they are keen to have you as part of their cohort. So apply next year. I have seen this happen. We had a candidate who applied and was waitlisted at Darden 1 year. And when he reapplied in round 1 the next year, he was accepted. Right. So let's talk about the 3 things that we can do as part of the recommendation strategy. As I mentioned, you can send update letters, you can send additional letters of recommendation, and you can send a letter of support. Let's talk about each of these components. What does an update letter contain, right? So an update letter will have material updates. And when I say material updates, essentially means, a revised test score. If you've retaken your standardized test, please send them a revised test score. Any professional achievements in terms of if there is something that you were, if there's a project that you had started while applying and it has now been completed, mention that along with the impact that you've created. Or if you've taken on a new initiative or started a new project, talk about it and the potential impact it is going to create. Okay. If there are any extracurricular updates, you can talk about that. Now, again, the same thing. If you've completed projects that were ongoing, mention those along with the impact that they've created. Or if you've taken on something new, started a new initiative, mention those along with the potential impact that they're going to create, either for the organization that you're working for or for the demographic that they serve. If you have done any new courses in your area of interest, professional area of interest, if you've completed any professional certifications, those can be mentioned here. So these are the 3 things, these are the 3 broad buckets that are covered in terms of updates. After that, the 2 things that we can talk about is your demonstrated interest and your commitment to the school. Now, demonstrated interest is really underrated. Most people don't realize how important this is, to a school. It's very important to show that you are passionate about going to that school, that you think of yourself as a good fit for the school, and you demonstrate to the school that you are a good fit for them. Okay, so you need to talk about how you've been attending their webinars, their post-submitting your application. This is not what you've done before submitting your application. Post-submitting your application, you have continued to engage with the school through their webinars, events, coffee chats, engaging with current students and alums, engaging with specific clubs, and engaging with people who are involved in activities that interest you. Now, that shows the school that you are, very passionate about them. And also you think of them as a school that is uniquely positioned to help you achieve your goals. Obviously, at the end of the update letter, you will reiterate your commitment to the school. And if it is your first choice school, please mention that. Also, if you're very sure that you are going to accept a place if admitted, mention that. Okay. Schools are very particular about their yield. They do not want to offer you a spot and, and then you take up another admit. The next thing that you can submit as part of your recommendation strategy is a letter of support. Okay. Now, what is a letter of support before we get into who can write a letter of support? Now, remember, a letter of support is not a letter of recommendation. Those are a requirement of the application and have already been submitted. Okay. So a letter of support essentially demonstrates your fit for the program, which is why it is taken from an alum or a current student, or sometimes even, faculty members, from business schools. What it does is, because an alum or a current student knows you and knows the school well, they're able to demonstrate how you are a good fit for the school and the program. Okay. Now, normally, it should not be more than 1 page long. It shouldn't be 1 page long. And the endorser does not have to necessarily have worked with you, but they should really know you well. And even if they know you well, a good strategy would be to have very deep conversations with them about the school, about, how you see yourself benefiting from the school, the kind of contributions you can make to the school, and your goals and how you see the school aligned with your goals. It's very important to have those conversations so that the letter of support that the endorser provides is meaningful and adds value to the application. So as I just mentioned, this is the suggested framework. The endorser can start by introducing himself or herself. Say, I'm so-and-so, working at so-and-so place, class of so-and-so at this particular school. I'm supporting this particular candidate. Your application number can be mentioned here, okay, if you have that, if you've shared that with him or her. After that, they need to demonstrate your fit for the school and how you're aligned to the values of the school, which essentially means that they need to speak to the ethos of the school. Okay. After this, he or she needs to mention what is it that you're going to bring to the table at the school, both within and outside the classroom. How will you make a good addition to the class and cohort? Okay. He or she can also talk about how they feel that the school is uniquely positioned to help you achieve your goals, and then obviously finally endorse your candidacy. Please remember that the letter of support is not something that you should be writing for your endorser. It needs to come from a place of personal experience. Okay. The endorser has been to that school. There are certain things that he knows and understands about the school that are not available on the internet or the school website. And he or she needs to use those insights, while talking about your fit, while talking about how you can be a good addition to the school, while talking about how they feel that the school can help you achieve your goals. Okay. So a lot of personalization is required here. Please don't try and write this yourself. As I said, what you can do is have very deep discussions on your goals, on why you think you're a good fit for the school, on the work that you've done, both professionally and outside of it, so that they can pick up some elements to highlight certain skills. All right. Question that I'm asked very often: how many letters of support should I send? Honestly, you need to focus on quality over quantity. One good, strong letter of support is enough. Maximum 2, not more than that. All right. I'm also going to mention one more thing here, which is the letter of recommendation. What you can also send is an additional letter of recommendation. As I mentioned earlier, this should not be from someone you've already taken an LOR from for your application. It should be somebody new. Has to be a person that you've worked with. And the LOR needs to be additive. When I say additive, it needs to bring out a different aspect of you and provide a different perspective on you from those LORs that have already been submitted. Okay, for it to add value to your application. So these are the 3 things that we typically do, as part of your waitlist strategy. And of course, we look at school-specific requirements. If there are any requirements, like Booth requires you to submit, it's an optional thing, but they ask you to submit a video, and they ask you to be creative as well. So you can do that as well. So we look at school-specific requirements and help you with those as well. Right. Some questions that are asked frequently. Okay. Do schools rank waitlisted candidates? No. All schools across the board are very categoric about the fact that they do not rank candidates, waitlisted candidates. Okay, so when do schools take decisions on waitlists? So normally, again, it is with the next round of applications, but it can happen at any point in the application. Now, especially in the application cycle. Now, if a school accepts rolling applications, it can really happen at any point in time. Okay. Do schools evaluate waitlisted candidates only when they have spots? No. Waitlisted applicants are reviewed on an ongoing basis. Schools are trying to build a diverse class, and they generally have check-in points, okay, which line up with admissions rounds. Schools monitor the yields, and waitlists are closed in late spring or summer. Will a campus visit help my candidature? I've already addressed that. How frequently should I send updates? Now, here's the thing. It is very important to club updates and send them. Please do not hound the AdCom and send them something every 2 or 3 days. Okay, that is counterproductive and can work against you. I would say send them an update every 4 to 6 weeks, which is also the time frame that you need to do something significant and compile it and send it. This is a very good question. If I'm planning to switch jobs, should I tell the AdCom? Now, if you want to switch jobs, tell the AdCom only after you've accepted the offer. Okay, you need to tell them about your job, tell them about why you are making this transition at this point in time. What are your exact roles and what is your exact role and what are your exact responsibilities? What is it that excites you about this new job and how is it aligned to your goals? If I have a high GMAT or GRE score, do I need to do additional courses or certifications? No. You do not need to do additional certifications if you already have a strong GMAT or GRE score. Okay. If I'm planning, okay. What if I have a low IR or an AWA? Now, here's the thing. If your IR is lower than 5, you might need to address that. And if your AWA is lower than 4, you might need to address that. Otherwise, it is fine. You don't need to, address those. If I have a GMAT waiver, should I take the GMAT, retake the GMAT? Will a better GMAT score ensure conversion of a waitlist? Now, here's the thing. If you've already got a GMAT waiver, it means that you've demonstrated strong quant skills and abilities, which is a reason why you've got a GMAT waiver. In that case, there really is no need. But in case you've got a GMAT waiver because you were not able to appear for the GMAT or GRE due to some extenuating circumstances, you could take the GMAT and submit a score. Also, if you come from an overrepresented or a highly competitive pool, a GMAT score could be a differentiator. So in that scenario, you could take the GMAT and submit a score. But remember that GMAT is only one of the components of the application. The schools look at your entire application holistically. They look at everything, your undergrad GPA, your work experience, your leadership qualities, your skills, your strengths, and evaluate you in a holistic manner. It's not just one component that decides whether you get accepted or rejected at a school. One more thing, in case your GPA is low, submitting a GMAT score might help in that case. Okay, what courses or certifications should I do to improve my profile? You need to be very, very targeted here. Don't do courses on Coursera or any other online courses randomly. You need to make sure that the courses and certifications that you do are aligned, either enhance skills where you've shown a gap, or they add value to you professionally. Okay, and so those are the courses and certifications that you should do. That'll help you build your professional skills. Or of course, in case you have a low GMAT score and you've maxed out on your attempts, or you are unable to reattempt the GMAT and GRE, it makes sense to do courses like MBA Math, or schools like UCLA and Berkeley offer extension courses. Those are good courses to do. There is, of course, HBS score, but that requires a much longer time commitment. It may not be possible to do it while you are, between the time when you receive your waitlist decision and your final decision. Will taking courses in management or leadership add any value to my application? Not really. They just show that you are making an effort and you are, working towards your professional goals. But in terms of getting off the wait list, not really. All right, I'm just going to quickly talk about some of our candidates who converted waitlists. We have a lot more candidates across a gamut of schools, but I'm just going to talk about 3 cases here. Case 1, this person had an undergrad, a commerce undergrad, 6 years of work experience. His goal was in sustainability with a score of 710. He was waitlisted at Duke Fuqua after an interview. And, we worked on his waitlist strategy. Of course, after accepting the place on the waitlist, he attended the waitlist webinar. He took a lot of initiatives in the sustainability space. A lot of them reached fruition before the waitlist decision came in. We spoke about that, the scope and the scale of the impact that he had made. He also we also sent in an additional letter of recommendation. The other thing that he did was engage with the school continuously. He attended all their events. He spoke with current students, alumni, got an better understanding and of the school, its culture, its curriculum, his fit for the program. And we were able to convey that in his update letters. Okay. He also did something very interesting. He was a moderator on GMAT Club for various modules, and he ran various modules for Duke Fuqua, gave him a lot of visibility, showed that he was deeply interested in the school. And the AdCom actually invited him to have a conversation, a one-on-one conversation, where again, he utilized all his learnings, all the insights that he had from his engagement with the school to demonstrate his passion and fit for the school and what is it that how he could contribute to the school. He was not only did he get off the wait list, but he was also, this is again very unusual. Getting off the wait list is phenomenal, but he was also offered a $20,000 scholarship. The second case, this was a girl in technology with 4 years of work experience, worked with, in project management, with a score of 730, GMAT score of 730. She was waitlisted at Chicago Booth, which was her dream school. So she really put in a lot of effort to convert the waitlist. She engaged again with the school continuously. They had an in-person event in India, which she flew down for and made an effort to attend, talk to people from the AdCom, understand, how, her profile was aligned to that of the school. She sent professional updates. And she also sent a very, very creative 60-second video that Booth allows you. She was a pianist and she played piano in the background and spoke about how she could contribute to the community at Booth. The third case was he was again a tech graduate with PhD in liberal studies with 4 years of work experience. He was working in social impact and his goal was in social impact. He had a score of 730 and he was waitlisted at Michigan Ross. He, of course, besides sending regular professional and extracurricular updates, he focused on, highlighting his engagement with the Ross community and he was very passionate, and his passion came through in his engagement with the school. He was again admitted. Just to circle back to case 2, this girl was admitted with, of course, she got off the wait list and also received a $40,000 scholarship, which is highly unusual. It just goes on to show that, these are people, if you're waitlisted, schools, you are under active consideration. Schools really do want you. And, when they reevaluate your application and they decide to take you, the scholarship is a hook to make sure that you come there. Right, that brings us to the end of my presentation, and I'm going to open the floor to Q&A now. Okay, let me see. I have I have 2 questions here. Any specific processes for CBS or expectations of the AdCom apart from the initial response? For CBS, the process remains more or less the same. CBS allows for you send the first set of updates along with the acceptance, along with your acceptance on the waitlist. So that, and you can send in subsequent updates. Please do try and send a letter of support. The one thing I want to say about the letter of support, unlike the letter of recommendation where the designation of your recommender does not matter, here it will carry weight. If you get a letter of support from an industry senior, somebody who's a high achiever, and also somebody who has been engaged with the school. The second question, do some schools like MIT Sloan waitlist a majority of their applicants rather than accept or reject decisions? Difficult for me to answer a question like that, but no, that's not true. In fact, MIT Sloan is pretty straightforward. Only if they want you, they will waitlist you. Otherwise, they will just reject you outright. Any suggestions on how to engage with schools in case there are no upcoming local events or waitlist webinars? Very good question. So what you can do is, sending updates is one way of engaging with the school. Okay. The other way to engage with the school in case they do not have any webinars, coffee chats, or events coming up is to stay connected with their school ambassadors and, continue to talk to alumni and current students. Now, the insights that you get from these engagements are something that we can include in your update letters. They form a part of the update letters, okay? That I engaged with so-and-so, class of so-and-so. These are the insights that I got about the school, about the program, that has convinced me that, X school is the right fit school for me, or it has, strengthened my conviction that this is the school, that I want to come to. Does getting an LOR from an international senior colleague add more value? Okay, so as far as the LOR is concerned, it is very important that the person giving the LOR knows you very well, should have worked very closely with you, and should be able to highlight very specific skills and strengths. Now, that can be done by anyone, locally or internationally. Just getting an LOR from somebody who is working in the company in another location is not going to add value unless they can show that you have done international projects, cross-border projects, or you have worked with them in another geography. That will be a value addition. Just the person's designation or the fact that they're sitting somewhere else is not going to add value. Are there any other questions? Would anyone else like to know anything? All right. So I guess that brings us to the end of the session. If you've been waitlisted, or if, results are still to be announced, most people have only received interview invites as yet, and you need guidance on how to navigate the waitlist, please reach out to us. Please reach out to us at the Red Pen, and we will be happy to help you. Right. Thank you very much for your time on a Saturday morning. And if you've been waitlisted, good luck to you. I sincerely hope that you get off the wait list and you get into a school of your choice. And as I said, if you get waitlisted, do reach out to us and we can help you navigate the wait list.